an Olympic gold medalist, revered in the boxing world, whom boasts an astounding reign as champion for 4,282 days, the longest in boxing sport's storied history. Known as the True Destroyer, he bested 23 challengers as the heavyweight champion, establishing a record for the most victories and title defenses as the unified champion in professional boxing. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2021, Wladimir Klitschko emerged as the most dominant heavyweight champion of his time. It's easy to say he faced a less competitive landscape, yet Klitschko made the most of his adversaries, rising above and demonstrating unparalleled dominance in the ring. Towering in at 6 foot 6 inches and tipping the scales at around 240 pounds, Wladimir Klitschko possessed a physique reminiscent of a Greek god, sculpted to perfection. He seemed to be favored by the gods, embodying size, strength, power, and athleticism. Yet more than his impressive attributes was his indomitable spirit. A fierce desire to compete and claim the world title. Coupled with this ambition was an unwavering discipline that allowed him to maintain his supremacy, even in the face of setbacks. Vladimir's story is a powerful saga woven with threads of discipline, triumph, defeat, and redemption. Once a revered champion, he experienced a devastating fall from grace, losing not only his titles, but also the essence of who he was. Yet, amidst the ashes of defeat, he discovered an ember of resilience that ignited a fierce determination within him. Wladimir fought to redefine the very meaning of strength. His journey transformed him into a celebrated victor, to a symbol of perseverance, proving that greatness lies not only in winning, but in the courage to rise again after every fall. When you're young, brimming with strength, and fueled by the belief that glory will last forever, how can you approach the ring any other way? Wladimir Klitschko was a force of nature in those early days, a bruiser who unleashed his power with reckless abandon. He effortlessly muscled his way through the ranks, imposing his dominance on opponents who often found themselves outmatched in both strength and tenacity, earning the rightful name to Dr. Steelhammer. But even a titan can fall, and Vladimir's invincibility was shattered when he faced Corey Sanders, where he discovered that beneath the bravado and brute force lay the vulnerabilities that would reshape his path in the unforgiving world of boxing. The greatest champions are those who possess the ability to adapt and evolve over time. While Wladimir boasted a towering size and power, he also grappled with the vulnerability in his chin that often made him a target in the ring. Despite the punishing arsenal at his disposal, he learned that true greatness lies not in the brute strength, but in the wisdom to recognize one's flaw and rise above. Recognizing the urgency for the need of transformation, Wladimir sought out a trainer who would redefine the course of his career. Enter the legendary Emanuel Steward, a master of the craft whose influence has shepherded countless Hall of Famers, including the illustrious Lennox Lewis, the latest undisputed heavyweight world champion. With Steward at the helm, Wladimir was in the hands of someone who understood the nuances of a lanky boxer, someone who valued a sharp jab, but above all, the importance of a powerful right cross. The evolution of Wladimir's style began as Steward meticulously refined his technique, shaping him into a more boxer puncher, setting the stage for a resurgence that would leave an indelible mark on the heavyweight division. Wladimir transformed into a dynamic boxer puncher, mastering the art of fighting from the outside. This new approach worked wonders for him, as he could wield his powerful jab to keep opponents at bay, while dictating the tempo of the bout. From this strategic distance, he unleashed his hammer and right cross, laying with precision while staying out of range. By embracing this refined style, he significantly reduced the toll on his chin compared to the days as an aggressive bruiser. In the lane of the giants, it only takes one punch to change everything. It became clear that it would be Wladimir delivering that decisive blow and not his adversaries.
Wladimir hit him with a couple left hooks which kept it going that way, and he just was off these punches, and he's thrown a lot of.
At the elite level of boxing, it's the mastery of basics and fundamentals that truly triumphs. Wladimir epitomized this principle as he honed his craft as a fighter primarily defined by his jab, cross, and left hook. His offense was orchestrated through a tenacious and active jab that constantly kept his opponents on edge. The right cross, powerful and precise, lay just behind, ready to follow.
Not knowing how to get himself into
When his opponents retreated into a high guard, preoccupied with fending off the jab and the impending cross, Wladimir would skillfully exploit the distraction, launching his left hook around the defenses for a devastating impact. This calculated choreography of punches showcased not just power, but a keen understanding of timing and strategy. In this phase of his offense, Wladimir's opponents found themselves ensnared in a web of uncertainty, unsure whether it was the punishing cross lurking behind his jab or a sneaking left hook ready to arc around the guard. This ambiguity complicated the decisive patterns as they grappled with the dilemma of which punch to anticipate. The rhythm of his offense kept them guessing, making it increasingly challenging to predict and counter his punches, ultimately leaving them vulnerable to his calculated onslaught.
So der kann sich auch noch die Zeit nehmen, haben Sie das gesehen? Abruf, dann geht wieder weg. Hier steht wieder. Und nochmal kommt die rechte.
Boxing unfolds over 12 grueling rounds, and Wladimir wasn't just a fighter, he was a master tactician in a full-length battle. He possessed the raw power to extinguish fights with a single punch, yet his true art lay in the controlled aggression. Wladimir seamlessly flowed with the fight. His strategy resembled the slow and deliberate tactics of siege warfare. From a distance, he would chip away at his opponents, wearing them down with his ranged punches. As the fight progressed and the impact of his punches became evident, he would gradually increase the tempo, applying pressure without ever seeming to rush. A model of patience, Wladimir understood that the knockout would come in his own time. It was a matter of outsmarting rather than outshining his rivals. His approach was grounded in intelligence over flashiness, demonstrating that in the ring, the most effective battles are often won through calculated persistence and shrewd in strategy. The fight unfolded like a slow burn, a simmering tension that foreshadowed the inevitable doom of being ground into submission. In the world of boxing, there's a fundamental truth. If your opponent is unable to thwart your tactics, you keep the onslaught going. And if his opponents even began to glimpse a strategy for transition, it was already too late.
Joe Louis, 25. The damage trying to get through that bad neighborhood to get to the inside. He goes
and is in front of a guy that ability to get close to.
Second knockdown.
At the heart of Wladimir's boxing style lay the critical art of range control. As an outside fighter, he understood the perils of getting ensnared in a wild slugfest on the inside. To him, such chaos was an invitation to danger. The true advantage resided in striking from a distance, landing punches while avoiding powerful blows. His jab was a primary tool, but even more pivotal was his footwork. Wladimir executed what could be called a telephone jab, a crisp, straight shot that connected like a call precisely when needed. He was nearly always the one dictating the tempo of the fight, orchestrating action to his advantage.
Once again, it's amazing that Jennings can
I'm out before you tell him that. You put it in his mind this is a real thing.
In tandem with his offensive prowess, Wladimir's defense was equally straightforward, yet effective. His lead hand served as a sturdy barrier, often a post that he utilized to maintain distance. While pulling back during engagements, he would pin opponents with his lead hand, stifling the ability to follow up with heavier punches. This ability to control the range allowed him to remain elusive while constantly threatening his rivals, turning the ring into a playground where he dictated the rules of engagement.
Die Zeitkraft nach vorne, also das war schon mal die richtige Taktik, um die Rechte zu vermeiden. Jetzt fehlt noch die Idee.
Clinching, while often frowned upon when overused, is a technique that was incredibly effective for the champion. It would shut the front door to the opponent's offense if they did manage to work their way onto the inside, serving as a frustrating pause. A way to halt the action and force a reset after all the hard work earned efforts to get past his reach. It was all about control and manipulation. He stifled his opponent's movements and steered them around the ring, interrupting the strategy and disrupt the rhythm. Ultimately, it was a clever battle of wills where Wladimir clinching not only deflated the momentum of his opponents, but also reinforced his own command in the ring, showcasing that the art of control can be just as powerful as any punch thrown.
So it's not over yet. Maybe a rematch eventually is my opinion.
So he's been in the 12th round before, including in the fight with the Braggamon.
Wladimir exemplifies the power of mastering the fundamentals as the key to achieving victory at the highest levels of competition. Success doesn't require a dazzling flair. Instead, it hinges on flawless execution. In fact, it's often in the elegance and simplicity that the true triumph lies. We have a tendency to overcomplicate our approaches, but it's through harnessing straightforward techniques that we can emerge as champions.